So I just got back from the gym. As soon as I got back from the gym, I pick up my phone, kind of scroll through my 50 million emails. If anybody's seen my homepage on my phone, you know I have over 100,000 unread emails, but that's neither here nor there. But I get an email from a company who works within the industry, and they were forwarding me an email that they received from The Trace, which is a publication, online media source. I don't know exactly what they consider themselves, but they received an email from them, and this is what the email said. I'm a reporter from The Trace, a nonprofit magazine that covers guns and the gun industry in the U.S. I'm currently working on a story about social media influencers in the firearm space. And I was curious if I could get comment from you about some of the influencers who have promoted your product over the past year. Namely, popular influencers like Iraq Vet 8888, Colion Noir, Military Arms Channel, SIG, Glock Inc. Cult, Such, The Man Spot, Nuttin' Fancy, The Gun Collective, Mr. Guns and Gear, Warrior Poet Society, Kristen Joy Weiss, Top Gun Tory, and John Shrek Maffei have spread conspiracies online about the 2020 election and the Democratic Party. They have over-dramatized the risk of gun confiscation and fomented fears of election fraud. Some of the same conspiracies that researchers interviewed for this story claim helped drive insurrectionists to storm the Capitol on January 6th. Has your company reevaluated relationships with any of these creators in light of their political content? Has it considered connections between this content and the political rhetoric on display at the Capitol last week? We are hoping to run this story by tomorrow morning, and I wanted to give you a chance to comment before it does. If you can get back to me sometime in the next 12 hours, I will be able to include your comment in the story. You can feel free to contact me via such and such and such and such. Now, I'm just going to say this. Anybody who knows me personally and anyone who has been following me for a while now knows I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist. I actually get a lot of heat from some people within the gun community because I don't necessarily jump on every alleged theory that pops up. I usually take my time, try to investigate it when I can, and then make a decision whether or not I'm going to speak on it, considering whether or not it has legs or not. However, there is something that I have been pounding the pavement about for almost 10 years now because I've been so closely tied to it. And there are a lot of you who follow me, a lot of you who are new who are following me, who have not really witnessed this or experienced this. But there has been a collective, and I mean a collective effort on the part of anti-gunners to destroy the Second Amendment. And not only destroy the Second Amendment, but they're going so far as to figure out ways to silence the largest voices in the Second Amendment. There's no coincidence that everybody who I named was a heavy hitter. Everyone they named in that email was a heavy hitter in the 2A industry. That's not a coincidence. The overall goal is to stifle the Second Amendment by limiting our First Amendment. Think about that. They're literally trying to utilize our constitutional rights to destroy other constitutional rights. And I've been saying this for the longest. It's not just a stupid video at the end of my videos where I say there is a culture war against the Second Amendment. There is a culture war. They understand a lot of those people who were even listed in that don't even really talk about 2A political issues. They are part of the gun culture side of things. Me and maybe a couple of others are considered political commentators on the 2A issue. But the most of them are competition shooters, people who do gun reviews. So they're not even really in the whole political component to the degree that this email would make it seem. But see, that's just it. They understand the power and the influence that 2A influencers have at teaching, educating, and thus defending the Second Amendment. They understand that our voices are loud. They understand that we have very wide reach. And so what ends up happening is they need to keep the general public, they need to keep them ignorant about firearms. They need to keep them ignorant about the political aspects of firearms. They need to keep them ignorant about firearm safety. They need to keep them ignorant about all of it. Because the more people who become educated on the issue inevitably turn out to be advocates for the issue. They understand that very clearly. And what they don't need is a bunch of people with massive audiences going out and educating the masses. I can't speak for everyone on that list because I don't watch all of their content, but I can speak for me. And I know the one thing I do not do is incite any type of insurrection or violence on my channel. I am a 2A advocate. That is what I do, and I do it relentlessly. But if you can't see at this point, especially now, they are more emboldened than they have ever been. We've literally given children, this is like giving a child a flamethrower. Because now they have the keys to the castle. And I've been singing it for the longest time. I told you about the elections in Georgia. I told you about the importance of not voting for Biden with respect to the Second Amendment, because all it would do was embolden the other side of this to try to even do more things than they have already tried to do before. And there would be really nothing to stop them from doing it. But I got called a conspiracy theorist. I got called saying that I'm just making a lot of noise for nothing. No one's coming for your guns. Then why would they feel the need to try to then couple people in the gun industry who talk about 2A rights with something that happened in the Capitol a few days ago? That has nothing to do with anything. That is the most false equivalent I've ever seen in my life. But they understand how toxic and inflammatory what happened in the Capitol was. So the closer that they can get us to that flame, the easier it is to set us on fire. And I mean that figuratively, not literally, because again, every single thing I say is going to be considered and taken out of context to some degree. But essentially what they are trying to do is stifle our First Amendment so we can't use it to protect the Second Amendment. And we told you before, the Second Amendment protects the first. The first protects the second. That's how this works. So please, I implore the people that follow me, the people that watch my program, all of it. I get it. Not all of you all are conservative. Not all of you all are liberal. Not all of you vote Democrat. Not all of you vote Republican. But there is one commonality with respect to everyone that follows me, is that we understand the importance of the Second Amendment. I don't think the Second Amendment should have any partisanship. It should be bipartisan. It should be universal, that everybody wants to defend the Second Amendment. And I'm telling you right now, as I'm demonstrating to you with this email, I guarantee you they sent this email to a lot of people. It is coming. They are going to try to do everything in their power to silence voices like me, silence voices like the other people that you just saw in the email. That's their goal, because they understand how important it is. I've said it in interviews on countless times. The best thing that happened to the Second Amendment was social media, because the mainstream media was not going to give us a voice to talk about and educate the masses about the Second Amendment. But what social media allowed us to do was to have an independent voice to educate and inform the masses about the Second Amendment. And they understand the power of that. So now what they are trying to do is to tie us and align us in such a way that we are seemingly toxic, that we're doing things to violate certain policies on certain platforms. But even worse, trying to then contact people in the industry, companies in the industry, so that it makes it seem that we are so toxic that they would want nothing to do with us and go running scared. So, like I said before, there is a war, a culture war against the Second Amendment. There always has been, and they are turning it up a notch. So, when I tell you, click the subscribe button, share the videos, do all these things, and most importantly, sign up for my email list. There's a reason why I do that. I try not to complain about the shadow banning. I try not to complain about the videos that get taken down, that get demonetized. I do my best not to talk about those things and just adjust and adapt. I do. But I can't do that if I don't have access to my audience. I don't know what'll happen. They may shut me off. They may not. I don't know. The only thing I can do is try to preempt it as much as possible. And I'm pretty sure all of my other colleagues within the gun space are doing the same thing. So when you hear us talk about sharing this video, subscribing to our channel, signing up to our email list, there's a reason for that. It's preemptive. It's a protective measure so that in the event we lose our voices, we still have access to our audience so we can still talk to you and inform you. I'll still be able to put up videos regardless, but it doesn't matter if I don't have access to you. So that's why we do those things. And also that's why we go so hard with respect to defending the Second Amendment, because they don't let up. They really don't. And I do my best. I try my best not to be over passionate about it, because then people are like, oh, you need to calm down. But I've been doing this for 10 to 15 years. I've seen it all. I know what they're doing, and they've never been more emboldened than they are now. So remember, the Second Amendment protects the first protects the second. That's how it works. That's why they're going after our First Amendment rights at this point and trying to get us to be disassociated from everyone else in the industry. That's their goal. And then they can just put us off somewhere and ostracize us on the island and no one will ever hear from us again. So take this seriously. The Second Amendment should be off the table. Shouldn't even be a factor. The idea of protecting the Second Amendment should be universal. Right now, there's a culture war against the Second Amendment, which is why I need your help spreading our message to counter their message. You can help do this by leaving a comment, sharing this video, and clicking the bell and subscribe button. Let my voice be your voice, and let them know you want to keep America tactical, because the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed wasn't a suggestion, it was a directive. Also, if you're wondering where to purchase your AR-15s are essential, I will not comply. I am the militia. I lost all my guns in a boating accident. And your state-specific Keep America Tactical shirt, click the link next to my head or the link in the description section. Or if you're watching this on a mobile device, tap the small triangle on the lower right-hand side of this video and click the link in the description. All right, now we have the performance mask at shop.mrcolionnoir.com. And no, these aren't the masks that suffocate you to death. You can breathe in this mask. It's lightweight material, very high quality. You know how I do.